Hey guys, what's going on, dudes? It is David here. We are back with another video. Now, instead of this being a Falcons mock draft that'll be coming later on today, I decided to do a 32 NFL team mock draft. And here we are on the table with Chicago Bears having the number 1 overall pick. But we are going to make a trade. And we are going to go and we are going to trade Chicago's 1 to the Indianapolis Colts for a first, and you know what? Just because I'm gonna give them a second this year, and they're not. All right, well, I'll give them a third round next year, and a fourth this year. That's still not enough. I'm gonna still trade. So the Indianapolis Colts are now on the clock after trading with the Chicago Bears, and the Indianapolis Colts are going to take their future starting quarterback. Sadly, that's not going to be Matt Ryan next season. It is going to be the quarterback of Bryce Young from Alabama. I just feel like that's a very good overall choice for Indianapolis, considering they haven't really had a good starting quarterback since Andrew Luck. And when Andrew Luck retired, they were kind of left in a state of shock. So they finally get their young boy. Bryce Young is going to be in a division that contends with Trevor Lawrence and Malik Willis. And the next pick in our NFL draft, which is going to be C.J Stroud. And C.J Stroud is going to be heading to the Houston Texans, where they already have picks on the offensive line. They already have a left tackle, and they have a very good left guard that they picked from last year. And then they still have Brandon Cooks, a good number 1 wide receiver for C.J Stroud. So it seems like C.J Stroud is going to be set up perfectly. The Houston Texans select C.J Stroud. Now, here's the thing. Looking at this, the Arizona Cardinals, they do need edge. They do need pressure to get to the quarterback. But in this instance, do I see any team really making a trade up to get this Arizona pick? Not really. I think Arizona Cardinals are going to go and try and pressure the quarterback, but they're not going to go in the edge position. They're going to go Jalen Carter on defensive line position as Jalen Carter heads to Arizona Cardinals, an absolute monster for the Georgia Bulldogs this past season. And speaking about the edge position now, Chicago with the number 4 overall pick, it's going to go Will Anderson, edge out of Alabama. And when it comes to free agency, the Bears are going to have the most amount of money in all of the NFL teams when it comes to cap space. So they're going to spend big on free agency, planning on putting some weapons around Justin Fields. They got draft capital now that they have the number 1 pick. As we already seen, we traded that pick. And Will Anderson will be heading to Chicago Bears with the number 4 overall pick. Now, the Seattle Seahawks, they can select Myles Murphy. They could also select a quarterback. Because Geno Smith, even though Geno Smith did do good, Geno Smith, I really honestly just don't think that is going to be all that good. So you know what? I can see a team that needs a quarterback because the Seahawks, the Detroit Lions, the Raiders are all teams that I can see picking a quarterback at that position. So we're going to make a trade. And we're going to go to Seattle, and we're going to trade Seattle's pick to Carolina Panthers because the Carolina Panthers definitely need a starting quarterback when it comes to this. So Carolina's going to trade that, and the Carolina Panthers are also going to give them a third, and that will be the trade for that. And the Carolina Panthers move up to pick number 5 to select their quarterback for the future in Will Levis. This gets Will Levis a year to sit under Sam Darnold and possibly even start if Sam Darnold does not play well under pressure. And this also gives Will Levis a good chance because he has DJ Moore. He's going to have a very good set of offensive line. He has a good defense, so he doesn't really have to worry about this. So he'll have time to set in that Carolina. And considering Carolina's going to have a new coach next season, he's going to get very well put in that coach's new offensive system in his first season, rather than having to deal with the previous coach's offensive system. But that's where we're going to go. And now it's up to the Detroit Lions, and Detroit Lions definitely need help at the cornerback position. And Keely Ringo is just kind of disappointing me this year when I've seen highlights of him. So we're going to go at pick number 15. We're going to go Christian Gonzalez, cornerback out of Oregon, as we move on into the Raiders. And the Raiders definitely, they're maybe looking at a quarterback. It all really depends on if they get Tom Brady, to be honest. And do I really see the Raiders going for somebody like Anthony Richardson? I love my Florida guy, but I honestly just don't think that's going to happen. So, you know what? I'm going to say they need help on the edge position. They need someone opposite of, I forgot his, they need someone opposite of the other guy that's one of the best defensive players in the NFL. So, I'm going to have them pick before my team. I'm going to have them select Miles Murphy, edge out of Clemson. So on both sides of the edge position, they're going to have guys that can go at the quarterback and get some sacks for them. And that leads up into my team, the Atlanta Falcons, at pick number 8. We have a whole bunch of positions that we really need, but we do need help on the edge position. So I pick number 7. Well, he's ranked 7th on the board. But pick number 8, the Falcons are going to go with Tyree Wilson, edge out Texas Tech, and add to that edge position. And now this sets up the quarterback position. I think that this is going to be an absolute shocker, but Seattle with Geno Smith, if Geno Smith and Pete Carroll can play it good for at least a season or two, I'm going to have, this is going to be the shocker of the video. I'm going to have, no, I'm not, I was about to say Anthony Richardson, but I questioned it and I did not like it. But who would the Seattle Seahawks take? They really need an edge position, but the edge position isn't for a while. So really, if we're looking at this, the Eagles are next. Who needs defensive line when it comes to this position, or who would be trading up for a wide receiver? I don't really see anything. So I think that the Seattle Seahawks are just going to go with the best player available, and that will be Brian Brzee, defensive line out of Clemson. And that's just going to be a very good overall pick for the Seattle Seahawks as they continue to build up that defensive line, and it's going to be a very good thing to see. And with the Philadelphia Eagles here, Keely Ringo, cornerback is going to be their biggest need. I'm going to have them pick him up at pick number 10, setting up the Tennessee Titans, who definitely need a wide receiver, considering if Malik Willis is going to be their future. They're definitely going to need to go wide receiver. Maybe they go with the tight end and Michael Mayer, because the Green Bay Packers are going to be here, and there's a good amount of teams that could be getting a wide receiver. Tennessee's only one, because Houston, Jets, New England. New England's a pretty good one, and then the Green Bay Packers. But let's look at who's the best player available, and I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to have the Tennessee Titans to select Jordan Addison, wide receiver, just adding to what they have already, because they have Treylon Burks, who did not play very well this season, but still has potential to be a very good one, as we are back on the board with the Houston Texans, and they're gonna protect their quarterback for the future in Bryce Young, and they're gonna give him his tackle from Ohio State. They're gonna go Paris Johnson, offensive tackle at pick number 12, as we move on into the New York Jets, who also are going to need to protect their quarterback, whoever that is. And we're going to have them take Peter Skoronski, tackle out of Northwestern. So now when it comes to tackle position for them, they're very set when it comes to that. And now we have the New England Patriots. They need someone that can develop with Mac Jones. And I'm going to say this. The Patriots and Bill Belichick, they're going to go Jackson, Smith, and Jibba. And that will be a quarterback wide receiver pairing that hopefully can prosper for the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick. And speaking about Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers is going to still be there. This is the year that they finally get him a wide receiver. They're going to go Quentin Johnson out of TCU, who absolutely tore it up against Michigan, going for over 150 yards receiving. He's just a very good wide receiver. And Green Bay get a very good wide receiver that can pair up with Aaron Rodgers, pair up with Christian. No, it's not. Is it Christian? Yeah, Christian Watson. I was about to say Christian Moore. Christian Watson. But yeah, now we move on into the Washington Commanders. Sam Howell looks to be possibly the future for them. So we're at pick number 16. They need the cornerback position help, and we're going to have them take Cam Smith, cornerback, out of South Carolina, adding to the cornerback position, helping them in the defense, considering I think Sam Howell still has a very good chance at being their quarterback for the future. But now, Pittsburgh Steelers. What does Pittsburgh Steelers do? Well, I don't really know what Pittsburgh is going to do because they could, you know what? No, Pittsburgh, they need to protect Kenny Pickett. I'm going to have them take Broderick Jones, tackle, out of Georgia so they could finally add to that tackle position, which because I'm pretty shocked that last season they never went the tackle position, but this year that they're going to go, and now the Detroit Lions are back on the clock at pick number 18. And look who is here, right here, but no. I think Jared Goff, I think they can wait at least another year for Jared Goff to be ready, or for them to be ready to select another quarterback. So they could get a tight end position because they traded away T.J. Hawkinson to the Minnesota Vikings. And looking at the teams that are next, do any of them really need a tight end? Not really. So the Detroit Lions at pick number 18 are going to select Michael Mayer, tight end out of Notre Dame, replacing T.J. Hawkinson and giving them an option when it comes to pay. Because they would have to pay T.J. Hawkinson, I think this season or next season, and so now they get a rookie tight end for the future, and they don't have to worry about paying him for at least 3 to 4 years. Tampa Bay. Joey Porter, Anthony Richardson. Those are the two picks I'm really looking at. And considering that if Tom Brady's team, or Tom Brady's former team, if possible, were to go back-to-back, were to have two Florida quarterbacks as their quarterback because they already have Kyle Trask, I would not be happy with this. So due to my Florida bias here, I'm going to go Joey Porter out of Penn State, and then Anthony Richardson goes at pick number 20 to the Seattle Seahawks, giving him a couple of years to get under the system, and by this point, Geno Smith will have been done with Seattle, and then they can move on to their starting quarterback for the future. But to be honest, I really don't know because Pete Carroll may not be an NFL head coach for, let's say, past 3-4 years because he's the one that I think he's the second oldest head coach behind Bill Belichick in terms of head coaches. But still, we're going to go with that pick. And moving on into pick 21, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Ooh, I really don't know what to go with Jacksonville because wide receiver, I think they could pick that up I think they could pick wide receiver up in terms of free agency. And looking at the tight end position, I mean, Darnell Washington, is he really a number one? Is he really a first round pick? So I'm going to have them add to the safety position. And I'm not going to have them go Brian Branch. I'm going to have them go Antonio Johnson out of Texas A&M, a very good safety, adding to the Jaguars' depth position, which they really need when it comes to the secondary. So we're going to go with that. Moving on into the New York Giants now. And the wide receivers, no. Linebackers, let's take a look at the linebackers. So we got Trenton Simpson here that we could go with. And the Giants definitely do need a cornerback position, even though they beat the Minnesota Vikings today. But we're going to have the Giants go at pick number 22 with Trenton Simpson, linebacker. And now, do Baltimore really need a running back? Because if J.K. Dobbins can stay healthy, they don't really need a running back. So I'm going to have them add to the safety division. I'm going to have them take Brian Branch, safety, out of Alabama. I think Brian Branch has had a okay season when it comes to this season, but it'll be so interesting to see what he can do when he enters the NFL. As we move on to pick 24, the LA Chargers, they do not need wide receiver. I really don't know, because they definitely don't need running back. And I'm going to have them take, I'm going to have one person go from the East Coast to the West Coast, Nolan Smith, is going to be going to the LA Chargers, adding to that defensive position, adding some pressure, and then adding some depth to Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, who are going to be definitely the main guys pressuring the quarterback next season. As we move on into the Dallas Cowboys, they need quarterback, they need linebacker, they need offensive lineman. I'm going to have them take Devin Witherspoon, cornerback position, to pair up alongside Trayvon Diggs. I just feel like that's one position that they definitely need when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, but we'll move on from that. And now the tight end position. We're going to have, this is a late first round pick. Darnell Washington is going to be going to the Cincinnati Bengals at pick number 26. They need tight end position because Hayden Hurst is not going to be the future tight end for them, and they don't really know what to do. They could probably pick up a tight end in free agency, but I think that Darnell Washington would be a decent pick, even though it would be kind of a reach. But hey, we've seen a lot worse reaches than this. I mean, the Patriots selected the offensive guard in the first round last year, and that was definitely a reach when it comes to that. Now, speaking about quarterback positions, the Minnesota Vikings, they need defensive help, and I'm not shocked that their first 3 picks when it comes to this are all defensive picks. We're going to have them take Clark Phillips because, man, that secondary defense just needs a lot of help. Bradley Chubb, Von Miller, Isaiah Foskey to the Denver Broncos. Helps that defense. Helps the new head coach, whoever that's going to be. Could be John Harbaugh or Jim Harbaugh. But we're going to see what happens to that. Running back, Bijan Robinson. He's too good to not go in the first round. I'm very shocked that he hasn't gone before this. But I'm going to have Bijan Robinson go to the Buffalo Bills because now their running back position would be B.J. Robinson, Naheem Hines, and Devin Singletary, which would be a triple-headed running back scheme for the Buffalo Bills, and I would just love to see that. Now we move on into Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, my guy, but we're going to have them go. They need, I really don't honestly know what the Chiefs need when it comes to this. So, I mean, they could get wide receiver, they could take a reach, but I'm going to have them go B.J. Larry. Edge out of LSU, they need help when it comes to pressuring the quarterback. I think the running back position is kind of safe right now, so go with that. And does Philadelphia really need a running back? They got Miles Sanders. I guess they need someone that can eventually praise for Miles Sanders. So you know what? I'll have Jahmyr Gibbs go to the Philadelphia Eagles, and that will leave the Pittsburgh Steelers with the last pick in the first round. And you know what? Your best player available. This way you assure that you're protecting, your future, your star quarterback and Kenny Pickett. Cyrus Torrance, Florida, probably Florida's best player this season. When it comes to overall and the best player that Florida will probably have go draft, even though Anthony Richards is already gone by now, but still, Cyrus Torrance to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that completes the NFL draft. So that completes the NFL draft. The 2 picks that Pittsburgh Steelers had done, that was very, very interesting to see. But here we are. Bryce Young going number 1, C.J Stroud, Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, Will Levis, Christian Gonzalez, Miles Murphy, Tyree Wilson, Brian Brzee, Keely Ringo, Jordan Addison, Paris Johnson, Peter Skoronski to the Jets, JSN to the Patriots, Quentin Johnson, Ken Smith, Roger Jones, tackle going to Pittsburgh, Michael Mayer going to the Lions, Joey Porter, Anthony Richardson. I'll be interested to see if that does happen because I would love to see him how he does in the NFC, and playing against the Atlanta Falcons, that'd be very interesting. I would love to take him as Atlanta Falcons, but from what I'm gonna trust in Desmond Ridder for the season. Antonio Johnson, Trenton Simpson, Brian Branch, Nolan Smith, Devin Witherspoon, Darnell Washington, Clark Phillips, Isaiah Foskey, Bijan Robinson, B.J. Larry, Jahmyr Gibbs, Cyrus Torrance are my final picks of this 2023 NFL mock draft, 32-team NFL mock draft. I will see you guys all for the 7th-round Falcons mock draft. See you guys later. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. See you guys later. Peace.